Hello and welcome to Get Collected. I'm your host, Soul Brother Mike, and it's Thursday, September 7th, 2017, and you're listening to Season 4, Episode 15. Today in Feelosophy, we're talking about ethnomusicology. And here's something, I'm sharing a recording from my last gig at Villains Bistro with my full band, The Family Soul. And in What's the Deal, I'm going to let you know what's coming up. Now let's get to the show. So today on Feelosophy, I wanted to talk about ethnomusicology. First, I'll define it for you, and then I'll tell you about an American ethnomusicologist. Ethnomusicology is the study of music from the cultural and social aspects of the people who make it. It encompasses distinct theoretical and methodical approaches that emphasize cultural, social, material, cognitive, biological, and other dimensions or contexts of musical behavior instead of only its isolated sound component. The term ethnomusicology is said to have been first coined by Jaap Kunst from the Greek words ethnos, meaning nation, and music, meaning music, and is often defined as the anthropology or ethnography of music, or musical anthropology. Jeff Titten simply described it as the study of people making music. And speaking personally, this form of study really interests me on an intellectual level, but it also influences my own music, as I like to embody traditions and then go beyond them. I've always pushed for having cultural goals for my music, and that means more to me than the mere commercial or capitalistic goals. So Alan Lomax was a prominent American ethnomusicologist, and he was best known for his numerous field recordings of folk music of the 20th century. And he also was a musician himself, as well as a folklorist, archivist, writer, scholar, political activist, oral historian, and filmmaker. Lomax produced recordings, concerts, and radio shows in the US and England, which have played an important role in preserving folk music traditions in both those countries. It also helped start the American and British folk revivals in the 1940s, 50s, and early 60s. He collected material first with his father, folklorist and collector John A. Lomax, and later alone with others. Lomax recorded thousands of songs and interviews for the Archive of American Folk Song, of which he was the director, and at the Library of Congress on aluminum and acetate discs. You can listen to all of his recordings at research.culturalequity.org. So now I'm going to share with you one of Alan Lomax's recordings. It's a woodcutting chant taped in Mississippi at the Parchman Penitentiary in 1947. Bruce Jackson, writing about prison songs in the 1960s, explained, Southern agricultural penitentiaries were in many respects replicas of the 19th century plantations, where groups of slaves did arduous work by hand, supervised by white men with guns, and constant threat of awful physical punishment. So now for one of those recordings from the Parchman Prison Penitentiary in 1947, this song is called Early in the Morning.
Well, it's early morning, baby, when I ride, Lordy Mama. Well, it's early morning, baby, when I ride. Well, when it's early in the morning, baby, when I ride, Lordy, baby, you have a around my right side. Well, around my right side, baby, around my right side, sugar, well, I have a mirror around my right side, well, Lord, mother, well, Lord, keep the sugar, well, Lord, Rosa, well, Lord, yeah, well, I heard you never told her, he told her dirty lie, baby. Well, I heard you never told her, he told her dirty lie. Well, I heard you never told her, he told her dirty lie, baby. And when they want $1, He gonna rise and fly. Well, he gonna rise and fly. Oh, sugar. He gonna rise and fly. Oh, baby. Well, he hanging on the dollar. He gonna rise and fly. Well, Lord, Lord, he rolling. Well, Lord, yeah, Lord, baby. Well, Lord, Lord, sugar. Well, Lord, gal. Well, rocks and grab her to make a solid roll of sugar. He take a rock and grab her to make a solid roll. Well, he take a rock and grab her to make a solid roll of sugar. He take a good looking one, baby, to make a good looking hoe. Well, he make a good looking hoe, baby. He make a good looking Lord of sugar. He take a good looking one, mama. He make a good looking hoe. Well, Lord, Lord, he rollin'. Well, Lord, Lord, sugar. Well, Lord, Lord, he rollin'. Well, Lord, gal. Well, but the pegger would pack it on the schoolhouse door, sugar. Well, the beggar would have paid on the schoolhouse door. Well, the beggar would have paid on the schoolhouse door, sugar. Well, it begged so hard, baby, until the beggar got so well. Until the beggar got so, oh baby, until the beggar got so, Lord, sugar. Well, it begged so hard, oh mama, until the beggar got so well. Well, Lord, Lord, rolling. Well, Lord, yeah, keep it going. Well, Lord, Lord, rolling. Well, the Lord, yeah, well, hey, big Georgia, Baba. Well, I've been told, sugar. Well, I ain't been to Georgia, but I've been told. Well, I ain't been to Georgia, but I've been told, Mama. Well, Georgia went, baby. He got a sweet jelly roll. Well, he got a sweet jelly roll, Mama. He got a sweet jelly roll, sugar. Well, Georgia got it. He got a sweet jelly roll. Well, Lord, Lord, well, Lord, keep it calling you, baby. Well, Lord, well, Lord, well, Lord, yeah, well.
So today on Here's Something, I'm sharing with you a recording from my last full band gig at Villain's Bistro that was on June 10th. The recording I have for you is a cover of James Brown's I'll Go Crazy. This song was completely unfamiliar to 3/5 of the group, and so over the course of this 5-minute rendition, you can slowly hear the band getting more comfortable, tighter, and just better in general. On this recording, we have Taylor Eunice on drums, Keith Wilkinson on bass, his father, Jeff Wilkinson, on guitar, and also giving us a nice little solo section, and Kelly Hoppy on saxophone, who also blows a wonderful solo section. I'm on guitar and singing. Unfortunately, my vocals weren't too loud and therefore ended up lacking in more than one way, but I still think it was a fun moment from the night. So have a listen now to the Family Soul performing I'll Go Crazy live.
and nobody else. 'Cause if you quit me, I will break. If you really say I will break. Because I love you, I love you, I love you. Yourself and nobody else. You gotta live for yourself, yourself and nobody else. 'Cause if you I will wait. If you really gotta live for yourself, yourself and nobody else. You gotta live for yourself, yourself and nobody else. 'Cause if you quit me, I will wait. If you quit me, then I will wait. 'Cause I love you, I love you, I love you.
All right, that was I'll Go Crazy Live. Reach out to me on Twitter at SoulBrotherMike and let me know what you thought. Also, if you'd like to download and own that recording, simply subscribe to the Get Collected podcast on Patreon. So for $5 a month, you'll get access to all of the music that we feature in the Hear Something part of our show, and it's often rare and otherwise unreleased. So go subscribe now at patreon.com/getcollected. So what's the deal? Here's the deal. Today, I'm only going to promote one thing to you, and that is my show tomorrow night, September 8th, at Villains Bistro in downtown Windsor. Doors are at 8:30 p.m. and music starts at 9 o'clock. We've got Chrissy Cochran opening up the show with an acoustic set, and then my band, The Family Soul, is going to hit by 10 o'clock. We're going to play a set of original tunes, and then take a short break and come back up and do a whole set of cover tunes. I've got incredible musicians in the group, including Taylor Eunice on drums, Keith Wilkinson on bass, Kelly Hoppy on saxophone, Austin DiPietro on trumpet, Jeff Wilkinson on guitar, Vanessa Harnish on percussion, and Chrissy Cochran on backup vocals. So you're not going to want to miss this show. For all the details, you can head to soulbrothermike.com/dates, and I really hope to see you there. All right, that's our show for today. Thanks so much for listening. Tune back in on Tuesday for an all-new Get Political. Stay tuned and stay collected.